Welcome back. The U.S. Embassy, in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Social Services, has launched the Undetectable Untransmittable campaign together with the HIV risk hotspot mapping and key population size estimation report. Now, the campaign and the finding study will help Namibia to tackle challenges pertaining to key population groups that are at an elevated risk of contracting HIV. Now, with more details on this, I'm joined by Ms. Amy Marsdrop, who is the Senior Advisor for Community Engagement under IntraHealth Namibia. Good morning, Ms. Marsdrop, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right, let's talk about the report. What is it all about?
The report is more about finding where the key populations are, where they are going to, and where the hotspots. So we are talking about hotspots, and we are wondering what is a hotspot. So a hotspot can be a bar, can be a hotel, because it's where they feel comfortable going. So we just wanted to see where can we find them, and in which regions, or PJs like we call it, where are they actually? Yes.
And when we talk about them, who are we referring to?
We are talking about the key populations. Key populations, we are talking about the men who have sex of men. We are talking about female sex workers, and then the transgendered individuals.
And these are the people that are basically at a high risk of contracting HIV.
As we might say like that.
Okay. Now, the HIV risk hotspot mapping and key population size estimation report represents an important milestone of key populations, as well as a strengthening responses of sustainable HIV prevention. Kindly elaborate more on these findings.
We had 4 thematic areas. We looked at stigma, violence, and also access to HIV services to all the sites. So this is going to help the government, and it's also going to help the key population community to know what is happening, how is the services that we need to take to those hotspots, and how can we move forward. Yes.
Now, this report also details out that the risk hotspots that were carried out are in 9 priority geographical areas. Talk to us about these areas and what are some of the outcomes.
We are mostly in Katima, so I'm just going to highlight a bit.
Yes.
So in Katima and then in Rundu, we are in priority geographic areas, talks about regions, but we are more in towns. So the things that came up from the hotspot mapping is that we did 126 hotspot mapping. From those hotspot mapping, it came out that 12% of the hotspots, they reported that the key populations felt that they are being violated, sexually violated on site, and then about 15% of the hotspots report having access to full range of the HIV prevention services, while 90% of the hotspots are receptive to HIV services. Yes. And then from 289 KPs that were interviewed, 15 of the hotspots had received or had access to full range of these services.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, studies have shown that 14% of the people do not know where they stand when it comes to their HIV statuses. What can be done to encourage people to get tested?
Yeah. So this study also had a few key things that we wanted to come with. So with us, we're going to, especially we have case management and we have peer educators. So peer educators work within the community, and we are going to strengthen, especially the hotspots, so that the peer educators can work hand in hand with the key populations to say we are offering all of the services, and this is the services that we are providing, because sometimes we're at risk, but we might not know.
Yeah.
So we have everything. So our peer educators are already on the ground doing the footwork for us.
All right. Now, apart from that, the report was launched yesterday. What else can we expect
from the report?
Yes.
From the report, we are going to expect, because it came with recommendations. So from those recommendations, there's some things that came up were like most of the hotspots are busy on Fridays and Saturdays, which is now the weekends. So we are going to continue doing also moonlighting, because most of the female sex workers are also at night time. So we don't want to stop the HIV services that we are providing. Might it also be GPV referrals that we are also doing to say services don't just is an 8 to 5 job. It's not an 8 to 5 job, but it goes beyond their time. We're also going to scale up our outreach services within our communities to say we need to do outreaches within the weekends, within the week, so that we can know how to get the KP community to their services.
All right.
Yes.
Now, Ms. Mastro, before we let you go, any final remarks?
We also had the U equals U campaign. So the U equals U campaign actually just means undetectable means untransmittable. So that means when you have HIV and you take your medication correctly every day, and we do a HIV viral load after 6 months, it just means that you cannot pass the HIV virus on to your sexual partner, because there's still the stigma around that, no, if I sleep with somebody that's HIV positive, I'm going to get HIV. But you don't know, is the person virologically suppressed? So I always say, U equals U.
Okay, nice. Ms. Marsdrop, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right. That was Amy Marsdrop, who is the Senior Advisor for Community Engagement under IntraHealth, talking to us about the Undetectable Untransmittable campaign that was launched yesterday, together with the HIV risk hotspot mapping and key population size estimation report. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly.